Welcome to your Barbados Today evening news update for Thursday, May 27th. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has made yet another call for the reform of global institutions in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at this morning's 13th International Economic Forum on Latin America and the Caribbean, Prime Minister Mottley said equitable access to vaccines and financing for small countries were among the most pressing issues.
What that vision revealed in 2020 is the absolute need for urgent reform of our international institutions. It also revealed that there is an absence of global moral strategic leadership. For if that leadership existed, we would not, in my view, still be fighting in the way in which we are fighting from so many levels, with the containment of this virus, with the absence of vaccine equity, and with the terrible debt crisis and financial crisis that potentially could be spawned from this health pandemic. I, therefore, ask us as we reflect today whether we should not be involved in serious reform of the international architecture. It's not nice to have, but it is now necessary and vital. We need to supplement eligibility criteria for concessionary finance that is more sensitive to current and future vulnerabilities than that which is now captured in past measures of GDP, which quite frankly is completely irrelevant when you consider the circumstances of our country.
The Barbadian leader said the establishment of an international clearinghouse was also necessary for the purchase and sale of vaccines.
It cannot be that countries that are here have to be the victim of middlemen in circumstances where global pharmaceutical companies are saying they only deal with countries, but in reality, they have dealt with none of the small countries or very few of the small countries, but have had small countries have to deal with middlemen who are selling the vaccines at a premium to small countries. The bottom line is the presence of that international vaccine clearinghouse, the presence of a global summit on COVID will allow us to coordinate our actions both in terms of restrictions, even 16 months later. And it will allow us to be able to fight the race against variants.
Government needs to elaborate on and better justify its position with respect to the continued closure of commercial businesses on Sundays and bank holidays. So says opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley, following calls from the Petroleum Dealers Association of Barbados and the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as well as the Democratic Labour Party, for an ease of the COVID-19 protocol. Last Sunday, Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic, revealed that for the first time Barbados had reached its target of 25 cases per 100,000, following a positivity rate of 1.04% during the past week. Bishop Atherley tells Barbados Today, given the trend, government owed the public an explanation.
I think the country is craving for an explanation as to why the situation persists with the trends going in the direction that they seem to be. And I think government simply needs to better explain its position. I would want to presume that it is based on the guidance of the medical professionals. And therefore, if it is, government needs to better explain that position so that the country understands. I have said from the beginning, I think we need to follow the leading of government, with the assumption that government is being properly guided by and listening to the advice of the health professionals. And therefore, if that is the case, and they've got some sound reason for continuing the status quo as it is, then they should explain that more fully and properly to the public.
Barbados recorded 2 new positive COVID-19 cases yesterday. The positive tests, both males, were identified from the 544 tests conducted by the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. The latest cases now bring to 4,006 the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country. That's a breakdown of 1,934 females and 2,072 males. 42 people are currently in isolation. The virus has claimed the lives of 47 people. Meantime, 77,084 people have received doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine under the National Vaccination Program. Of that number, 57,998 people have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, officials in Jamaica raised concern about a disturbing number of children attempting suicide in the central part of the country. More in this report from Television Jamaica.
With over 70 children attempting suicide over the last year and 3 by children aged 13 and 14 in the last 2 weeks, psychiatrist for the Southern Regional Health Authority, Dr. Dorothy Garvey, says it's a cry for help. She's calling on parents and adults to heed the warning signs.
When your child tells you something, I'd like you to believe them, first of all. We can establish what is the actual fact later on. But let us believe them. Let us pass on to the child that what they're saying is important and we want to hear. When you do that, the child will be encouraged to say more. And you reassure the child that you will do everything in your power to keep them safe. You will get whatever help is needed.
The mother of one of the teens who attempted suicide shared what led her daughter to that point.
It's because the way how the father treated us. The father is get abusive, and the father beat me up in front of her. And one of the time when he's beating me, she tell him, say, no daddy, no daddy. He get up and he said, no daddy, no. I go kill her.
And according to guidance counselor and psychologist Althea Francis, witnessing abuse coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has seen more children staying home, can increase their stress levels.
And finally, on the international front, China has denounced U.S. efforts to further investigate whether COVID-19 came from a lab in the country. This after U.S. President Joe Biden called on intelligence officials to investigate all possible origins of the virus. More in this report from Reuters TV.
China's foreign ministry hit back at the United States on Thursday after US President Joe Biden ordered a review of intelligence about the origins of COVID-19 this week.
This shows that the US does not care about facts or truth and has zero interest in a serious science-based study of origin. Their aim is to use the pandemic to pursue stigmatization, political manipulation, and blame shifting.
This comes after the Chinese embassy in Washington said in a statement Wednesday that some political forces have been fixated on political manipulation and the blame game. Biden said on Wednesday that US intelligence agencies were divided about whether COVID-19 emerged from human contact with an infected animal or from a laboratory incident. As the WHO prepares to begin a second phase of studies into the origins of the coronavirus, China has been under pressure to give investigators more access amid allegations that it leaked from a Wuhan lab. China has repeatedly denied the lab was responsible.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.